If you've got insecure attachment, you'll probably struggle with the uncomfortableness of dating, or you might just jump in head first to the relationship and skip dating altogether. But you will be missing important information and red flags that might get you into another unhealthy relationship that's going to crash and burn down the line if you don't date in a healthy, self-paced way. When you go through these stages and set the exact boundaries I'm going to show you in today's lesson, you'll know exactly what you're looking for, how to identify it in someone, and you'll feel secure enough in yourself to listen to your intuition about someone so that you don't end up with stress, pain, and heartbreak. Dating while healing is something that I teach in my program Love by Design. And if you want more content on this topic around intentional dating, make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell button so you get notified when my new lessons go live every week. Before we begin, I want to announce that a few places have opened up on my calendar for the free one-to-one consult with me for the Love by Design program. So make sure you stick around till the end of the video for the announcement on how to sign up for that. So if you've got a pattern of jumping straight into relationships and things crash and burn a few months or a year later, I want you to look back to the start of that relationship when you just met them or just before that, because that is stage one. Stage one of healthy dating begins before you even go out on a date. You need to get really clear on what you want in a partner, what values you want them to have. And because we're looking for compatibility, not just someone who's compatible on the outside, but they truly are a fit on the inside, we want to make sure that they have the same values that we hold for ourselves. So being single and spending some time to identify your main core values in relationship and life is really important. Without knowing that, you'll be drawn to and pulled around by all sorts of people. Values really act like an anchor within ourselves and with our partner and the relationship we'll be creating. So think of this time when you're single as building a runway to create the life the way you want it to be, being really clear on what you need and what you value, and having the support and community around you. They all form this kind of runway for you to then bring someone on board eventually to create a relationship down the line. Now, part of this runway is also having healthy, flexible boundaries to stay within in all areas of your life so you don't veer off course. If you bring someone into your life and you don't have these boundaries, you'll tend to veer off and get distracted in the connection or the chemicals or fantasy. And you might wake up in 6 or 12 months later and realize that you've been in a relationship with someone who really isn't a fit for you at all. And you've effectively wasted that time when you could have been building something with someone who was more in alignment with you. Now, if you find yourself still hung up on someone, perhaps your ex, or you always tend to attract unavailable people, I want you to watch this video next after you learn about these strategies. So boundaries are an essential part of healthy dating, and we tend to think that we'll push them away with boundaries. But the reality is that a person who holds a strong container for themselves, a sense of self-awareness, and they act according to their own integrity when dating is incredibly attractive because it creates polarity between two people around the push-pull dynamic. Now, the push-pull dynamic is a natural law of attraction where if you release something and pull away, the other thing will naturally come in. And if you pursue that thing, that person, or whatever it is you want, that will pull away. There is this kind of natural ebb and flow about it. So in dating, you want to maintain a balance of pushing forward, reaching out to them, arranging things, as well as pulling back by holding to your boundaries and letting them contact you. It creates a space for the other person to ebb and flow in the same way. And it allows you to see if they're leaning into you and how they feel energetically about the connection. So you need to have these internal boundaries in place, ideally before or as soon as possible when you begin dating. The first boundary you need to have is around your self-care. You need to ensure that every day you are nourishing your body with healthy, vibrant food, and you're drinking enough water and you're moving your body at least 30 minutes a day. These physical boundaries are non-negotiable because when we're dating and meeting people, the chemicals and excitement that can course through our body can cause us to stop self-care because we get addicted to that chemical high. The second boundary you need to have with yourself are emotional boundaries because we can get easily obsessed when dating and anxiety can take over and overwhelm us. We've got to have emotional boundaries in place that will contain this excitement from getting out of hand. So start becoming aware of your emotional addictions and where you can get obsessive about emotional patterns and highs in the dating stage. So Pre-dating in this stage, a few great emotional boundaries to set are to spend time each day cultivating your own internal sense of self-worth, whether that's gratitude practice or learning a new skill or hobby or meditation. Anything that floods your body with positive self-worth talk, because dating can really bring out our insecurities, and we want to strengthen this internal muscle to override that. Another emotional boundary is to have a good support network in place of close friends you can talk to about the people you're dating. Because we can get swept away in the excitement and fantasy, we can easily miss red flags as a result. So you want to get into the habit of talking about your dating experiences frequently with different friends. Run situations and comments, they say, by your friends. This group mind will give you a mirror to reflect on how you're feeling about it and what your internal experience is actually like. The third boundary you need to have are spiritual boundaries, or if you're not a spiritual person, big picture boundaries. This is where you hold in place what your ultimate vision is, above and beyond finding a partner. What's your why to finding a partner? Do you want a family? Do you want security or peace in your life? What are the feelings that you're aiming to cultivate in your life in having a healthy relationship and partner? And having a strong vision in your mind before you start connecting with people will actually work to manifest and attract people more aligned with your vision to you. The second stage of healthy dating is, of course, when you start meeting people. Your aim is to meet people in as many different ways as you can, not just on apps. So break out of your patterns of dating in the past that have limited you. Hold the gaze of a stranger and smile. Strike up a conversation with someone at a cafe. Get up the courage to ask that guy to go out for a coffee with you. And in this stage, the main emotional boundary you want to hold true for yourself is that you're meeting for friendship only. You're creating a friendship connection to then have the opportunity to see if there's more than friendship there. This is going to take the pressure off putting yourself out there and help your nervous system to feel safe and get used to meeting strangers in this way. So you might ask them casually to go for a drink or a coffee, or if you've met them on an app, have a casual video chat a few times. You're just aiming to see if there's a natural friendship connection there. Now, I can't stress this baseline of friendship enough, because months or years down the line, when you're in partnership with someone and you're going through conflict or you're raising kids, you want to have your best friend by your side. Not someone that you had a crazy connection with way back, but is now not showing up and causing you stress or being selfish or isn't even there. And if you've had relationships or connections like that, let me know in the comments below. And if this video is helping you to rethink the dating process, because I want you to reverse engineer this. We think we need to be looking for chemistry and spark at the beginning, but that doesn't mean compatibility. And also, just because it's not present at the start doesn't mean chemistry won't develop over the first few months. So in stage 2, you're sorting people consciously. You're in charge of who you bring into your life, and you're holding true to your boundaries from stage 1 to look after your physical, emotional, and big picture boundaries. And in stage 2, you're just meeting for friendship only so that the possible spark of romance might appear. Stage 3 is where you decide to date one special person to see where it leads. This might be 2 or 3 weeks after you've met someone, or sooner. It's really up to you. I don't like timelines. And you might choose to date more than one person in this way, but I'm going to assume that your preference is to focus your time and energy with just one person. So the emotional boundary here is that you are in the driver's seat because you have chosen who you want to date further, because they've shown the potential for having the raw material and core values of the healthy partner you desire that you got clear on in stage 1. Now, just because we want to date them doesn't mean that they also want to date us in return. So this is where we can potentially meet up with rejection. Now, rejection is actually a really important part of healthy dating, but we fear it so much because we take it so personally, particularly if we've consciously chosen someone in this way and then they don't choose us back. But you've got to get comfortable with rejection. It's going to help you keep dating and sorting until you find someone who aligns with you and you align with them, which is really the healthy, conscious match we're looking for. So how do we deal with rejection in this stage? We might really like them and we really hope that they like us too. We're feeling insecure and nervous and unsure. We're feeling all the feelings. It can be really rattling to be in this position. So this is where you need boundaries the most. I want you to consider this equation we're trying to figure out here. We want to create the beginning of a healthy, conscious partnership, which is 100% of this container. And with this person we're choosing, we're ready to go in with all of our 50%, right? That's how we feel. That's how we're showing up and we're communicating that. So we firstly want to let them know, hey, I've really enjoyed hanging out. I feel a great connection here and I want to start seeing you more frequently. How do you feel about that? And then give them space to respond so that you can see accurately how they're showing up to you. Are they showing up? Do they seem enthusiastic and positive? Are they offering just as much as you are? Or do they seem a bit distant or standoffish or something isn't quite right for them? If there's that avoidant or pull back energy when you're asking them how they feel, take it at face value. They aren't willing, they're not ready to show up the way you want. So pull back. Take it as rejection. That sucks. They don't feel the same way as us. This is the point where our anxiety can get activated if we're used to pursuing unavailable people. Our nervous system gets completely switched on by their unavailability. We start pursuing them. Now, we do not want to fall in that trap. So if you've done this before, I want you to watch this video next. But let's assume that they've matched with you and they've matched your enthusiasm and they want to start dating you regularly, and you move on to the next stage, which is stage 4. Now, in this stage, you date for a month or a few months, and it feels like this kind of dance. This is where you're both calibrating around each other. There's a heightened push-pull here because you'll be more sensitive to times of less communication, and your stage 1 boundaries at this time are the most crucial to stay grounded in this dance. So you might have had a conversation with them around your preference for monogamy, or you might not. You might be sleeping with them or not. However the communication and preferences have been, be aware of your own expectations. If you're expecting this to be a relationship right now, don't. You haven't had the conversation yet. You haven't defined your expectations with them and had the conversation about what theirs are. And as much as we want to hurry to define things, you really don't want to hurry this uncomfortable stage. Honestly, this is the stage we skip most because it is really uncomfortable, but it's the time of most growth and learning about the person and about yourself. If you can hold a strong container for your self-worth and identity and not take things personally, particularly if they're dating other people, and just simply enjoy your time with them and be present and in the moment and not get ahead of yourself and not rush into fantasy stories, you will form such a strong foundation for yourself in relationships, whether it's with this person or with someone else. And you'll learn a lot about your attachment tendencies and what internal boundaries you need to strengthen so that you maintain your self-worth and identity when you're in a new vulnerable situation like dating someone new. And honestly, this is a time to enjoy the connection and have fun and feel free. When the anxiety arises, it's simply a sign that you need to balance out the fun and excitement with your own self-care and all the stage 1 boundaries. Keeping your internal container strong will also allow you the space to assess how you feel inside when you're around them. Are you feeling comfortable and safe in their presence? Or are you trying to change yourself to match with them and fit in? Part of compatibility with someone is feeling that you can be yourself around them. Because when we enter a relationship and the chemistry wears off, which it does wear off after about a year, we want to have that baseline of knowing each other well enough to work together as a team and to have that friendship that I've talked about already. So the last stage of healthy dating is stage 5, which is really this transition piece into relationship. You've become more comfortable with them, you've established that there's safety and trust and reliability, and you can let your guard down a little bit more. Be as honest and transparent and as vulnerable as you can with them here. Your hormones are probably making you feel like you belong with them, and safety and belonging and trust are great feelings to rely on as an indicator that they're a great fit for you. So when you do have the conversation to establish the start of the relationship, because you do need to communicate this shift from dating to relationship, get clear internally on what you like about them and what you potentially don't like so much, but it's okay. and also identify any major deal breakers or issues that you foresee the relationship might have. Before you make any decisions, talk these deal breakers through with friends, because we're in a bit of a haze of love right now. We've got chemicals coursing through our body and we're feeling so good about them, right? We could probably forgive anything at this point. So we need the objectivity of friends and our support network to flag things with before we go into the relationship with them. Now, some red flags work out and some deal breakers just fall away. And just because you're communicating them as red flags or deal breakers at the start of the relationship doesn't mean the relationship can't happen. But you do need to talk about these things with your person when you have the relationship conversation. Something like, hey, we've been dating for a few months and I'd really like to go to the next stage with you. I want to start a relationship. How do you feel about this? And if they're agreeable, let them know the things that you really like about them or the concerns that you have. Talk about everything and make sure you talk about what relationship actually means for you, what's going to change, and what your expectations in the early stages are. It could just be nothing but having the conversation to make the shift. Or you might decide to meet each other's family or go on a trip together to have that ritual to start the new relationship. It's totally up to you. And it might just be now that you're going to be exclusive, whereas you've both been dating and seeing other people up until now. But you've got to have the conversation, state your expectations, and talk about any concerns and hear them from your person as well. Moving into a relationship comes with its own set of boundaries. Emotionally, it's still a new situation. You're not married, nothing's permanent. There's still a high chance that things won't work out, or realizing that this person isn't a fit for you within the next 12 months. We're still sorting here, right up until something becomes permanent, like moving in together, having a family, or getting married. Now, if you want to know where to go from here in terms of stages, I want you to watch this video next, which will take you through the healthy stages of relationship. So right now you're in stage 2 of that video, the honeymoon stage, and I go into more depth around commitment and how to address significant cracks in a committed relationship when things are permanent. And if you want to know more about the process of internal boundaries and building self-worth, which I've weaved into today's lesson, I have a free training on that I want you to join me on, because I go through the steps to feeling secure in yourself in that training. That really makes this process of dating and sorting a lot easier. You can join me in that free training in the link below. I'd also love to meet you personally. I have a free Facebook group where we do live Q&As each week, and you can find the link to join me in that below as well. And like I mentioned, if you want to take up the offer for the free strategy call with me and address any of these points around healthy stages of dating or relationship, you can apply for that call in the link below. And please, I'd love to hear from you. Comment below if you've got any questions or comments that you'd like me to clarify. And if you found this video helpful and valuable, click the like button to help this video be seen by more people. And click the subscribe button for more content like this one, because I post new lessons every week. And in the meantime, here are some great next step videos for you to watch so that you can move one step closer to an incredible relationship with yourself and the partner you desire. And for now, I'll see you in the next video.